the thing that was going on in my life. We have a 16-month-old daughter, and our house is basically 2 bedrooms. And we plan on having additional kids, so we knew we were going to need a larger house down the road within a year or so. So we decided, instead of talking about it for a year or so, we might as well just give it a shot and try to sell it on our own.
We have successfully sold 3 homes on our own. We're in the process of selling the 4th one. And for us, selling on our own works.
We started selling the house with a real estate agent. And after 6 months, we decided to do it by ourselves, to sell the house by ourselves.
The purpose of this presentation is to explain and demystify the process of selling a home. Hello, I'm Dave Schaefer. Whether you have already decided to sell your own home yourself or are researching the topic, this video presentation can help you understand the steps involved. You may already be aware that selling on your own can save you a significant sum of money, but perhaps you've been worried that you can't deal with the legal paperwork or simply don't understand how it's done. We will show you the process of selling your own home step by step from start to finish and tell you where to find more detailed information, advice, or professional guidance. The fact is, whether you sell privately or with a real estate agent, you will need the professional services of an attorney. By the end of this tape, you'll know what to expect, how to get organized, and how to negotiate and close the deal.
Well, the idea of selling my home seems, or your home, seems like a complicated endeavor to take on. One thing I knew was that I was not without resources. There were lots of people and lots of places where I could go to get answers to questions that I had. By contacting my lawyer, I could get questions about legal things and contracts, questions about financing. I could go to the local banker, my banker, and ask him questions about financial issues. There just are a number of resources where you can tap into to get other people's expertise to help you do this.
More and more people are successfully selling this way. In 1993, there were about 4.3 million homes offered for sale in the United States. And according to the U.S. Department of Commerce, 29.4% of the homes sold were sold privately, that is, without an agent or broker. Almost 30%. And you can too. You may be choosing to sell on your own for a number of reasons, both financial and practical. To save on broker's fees. On the sale of a $150,000 home, the commission is about $9,000. To give your house a knowledgeable, more personal showing than an agent can. And to make things more convenient for you by taking control of the appointment schedule, deciding when people will be coming through your house.
One of the nicest things about selling it on our own was that we were in total control about the showing schedule. We didn't have to leave the house in the morning and wonder if people were going to look at the house that day or whatever. We had an answering machine. People called, we call them back, and we would set up the showing time at our convenience.
With 3 children, it's very difficult to sell the house with a real estate agent. And sometimes it happened, my kids were laughing about it, but it was very stressing. Like they got used to the signal, "They are here! To the car! Everybody to the car!" So while they were opening the door, we were downstairs going through the garage to the car with the dog and everybody. So it's kind of very stressing, plus keeping it clean. With the children, I mean, you turn around and they took out 20 toys again.
We understand that your situation will be unique, and we'll show you how to create a game plan that's right for you, one that will address your needs and desires. The process of selling a home yourself can be divided into 4 phases: research and preparation, advertising and marketing, negotiation, and contracts and closing. These will be covered in the following segments: assessing your motivators and realities, finding the range of market value, appraising the home, pricing the home, enhancing the property, advertising and marketing, showing your home, mortgage basics, negotiation, the closing, the purchase and sales agreement. Motivators and realities. The approach you take in selling your home, your game plan, your method, your style, will be determined by your personal situation. Why are you moving? How much time do you have to sell your present house? How much do you have to get from selling your home? The answers to these and many other fundamental questions are to be found in two broad categories which we call motivators and realities. Motivators are the reasons why you want to move. To be closer to town, the kids are gone and the house is too big. You want a nicer place. You're getting a promotion and a transfer. You'll be retiring soon. It feels like a good time to sell. Realities are the limitations and advantages of your situation. You're retiring soon and there's no pressure to sell. Interest rates are about to rise. You live in a desirable neighborhood, but unfortunately, many homes like yours are also for sale now. Your new job is in another state and starts in 6 months. You must get at least $125,000 or you won't move. Your first task is to discover what your motivators and realities are, and to evaluate and weigh them against each other. You'll find that a few of them rise to the top in importance. Others will be secondary. Still others will be less significant. Consider the following scenario.
We decided to sell ourselves because we weren't really in a hurry to sell the home. We didn't have a deadline that we had to be out of there by, and truthfully, we couldn't afford to move to another house. If we would have paid their commission and gotten the best price that we could have gotten for the house, we wouldn't have been able really to move into a house similar to it.
And here's another scenario.
The reason we decided to sell our house when we did was the fact that our family was expanding. We needed a larger house. We had been talking about moving down to a resort town for about 2 years, and one of the major reasons was we have a ton of equity in the house, and interest rates were so low you can't borrow money any cheaper than you can today.
The range of scenarios is endless, and each of you will have your own set of important concerns. Moreover, these may change with time. You may be well into the selling process only to learn that a new baby's on the way. Expect change and tailor your game plan accordingly. So you see that it's important to first develop a clear picture of your motivators and realities, because this will affect and guide all further decisions. Finding the range of market value. The dollar amount you advertise your house for, the asking price, and the lowest figure you will accept, the bottom line, both will come about as a product of the interplay between three factors: the highest appraisable value of your house, market conditions, and your personal situation, your motivators and realities. Now, you may have heard a wonderful and enticing story of someone's home selling for a lot more than the bank's appraisal, and the seller making a killing. Sales like these are very rare. Buyers usually protect themselves by insisting on a contingency clause in the purchase and sales agreement, stipulating that the house for sale be appraised by a professional, certified appraiser, and that the actual selling price be at or below the appraised value. You probably had that same clause in the contract when you bought your house, the one that you're in now. We will not attempt to convince you that you too can get huge premiums for your house, as nice as that would be. Our aim in this presentation is to help you become comfortable and confident with the whole process which you are embarking upon, and confident in your ability to negotiate a fair price for your home. You can achieve this, and you'll start by becoming well informed. No one wants to put their house on the market only to find out that other comparable houses have recently been selling for $15,000 more. And on the other hand, if you set a price that is far above what homes like yours are selling for and will appraise for, then you might just find yourself many months down the road with no prospects or interested buyers. Finding the accurate price range that your home is worth in your market can take some time and a little research. Because of this time factor, this process of pricing should get started as early as possible. Appraising the home. You need to get the facts before you can find a fair price range for your home. There are basically two main roads you can take. First, you can do your own appraisal. Doing this properly involves carefully measuring the square footage, inspecting the property, and then conducting a full market analysis of similar properties that have recently sold. Or second, you can have your home appraised by a professional. Here's how two people did their own appraisals.
My wife and I arrived at our price basically because we did a lot of research. We looked in a lot of real estate magazines, we drove around, compared houses, looked at houses, and the fact that we had one of the nicest views in the area overlooking Lake Champlain we knew that we could get a little more money than a comparable house in a basic neighborhood.
I mean, basically, I went down to the city hall and I took a look at the prices that the lots on either side of us, which had just been built, sold for. And we took a look at what the market analysis was. We also took a look at the fact that we had put a considerable amount of money into the property.
So you can do the research at the town clerk's office, ask neighbors, go to a few open houses, and get a feel for what houses like yours are selling for. Getting an accurate assessment of your home's relative value will depend on your understanding of how your home compares to very similar homes that have recently sold. In a neighborhood with many similar homes, this could be relatively easy. But in the case of an unusual home, or in a rural area, this may be more difficult. We can't overemphasize the need for accurate information, and if you're uncomfortable with or don't have the time for all of the steps involved in doing your own appraisal, then you might want to employ the services of a professional appraiser. With a professional appraisal, you'll be assured that the size and area will be accurately measured and the entire property knowledgeably evaluated. The appraisal document will tell you the highest figure that you can reasonably expect a lending institution to approve a mortgage for, and having it on hand can strengthen your negotiating position. It may even help you get more money for your home. The professional appraisal. A state-certified appraiser will draw up an appraisal document containing an opinion of value. The appraisal itself consists of a two-step process. Step 1, the site inspection. The main purpose of a site inspection is to enable the appraiser to accurately measure the square footage and inventory all the features of your home, so he or she can place it among similar homes in a market analysis. It is a physical examination and assessment of such things as the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the type of flooring, the age of the house, and the condition of the roofing, wiring, heating, and plumbing. It also takes into account other factors which will increase or decrease its value, such as views or location. Step 2, the market analysis. It is the market analysis that really makes up the bulk of the appraisal. What happens is that your home is compared with homes of similar size, style, and features which have recently sold in your area, ideally in the same neighborhood. Each of these elements must be a close match for the appraisal to be accurate. Most appraisers will include 3 to 4 comparable properties. The appraiser compiles all the facts and then uses his or her experience and familiarity with the current market conditions to give you their professional opinion of value. When having your own appraisal done, you can hire whomever you choose. Ask for references and find out which banks and mortgage companies use this appraiser on a regular basis. In general, hire someone with good credentials, preferably state certified, whom you feel comfortable with. Appraisals are generally considered valid for up to 4 to 6 months and will cost several $100s. Given the cost, the appraisal document itself can be one of the items of value up for discussion in negotiations. If your appraisal document is deemed current and valid by your buyer's bank, you may agree to split the cost of your appraisal with your buyer, or you could sell it to them, or throw it in as part of the deal. Whoever ultimately pays for it, it is still worthwhile to have an appraisal done up front to be sure that you know what your home is worth right from the start. If your appraisal document is not accepted by the buyer's mortgage company, that company will conduct its own appraisal before determining the maximum amount it will write a mortgage for. In general, lenders will use either the appraised value or the selling price, whichever is lower. While there are many different types of mortgages, all of them have some ceiling, the loan-to-value ratio, above which a lender simply will not approve a loan. The point is, until the mortgage is paid off, it is the lender who owns the property and who does not want to pay more than the market value. Likewise, written into most contracts is the buyer's insistence on the house selling at or below the appraised value, either to avoid paying too much or to be able to qualify for a loan. So if the agreed-upon selling price is greater than the property's appraised value, the contract will be null and void, and you'll need to renegotiate the deal or lose the sale. Does this mean that you can never sell for more than the appraisal? No. If your buyer will knowingly, willingly pay above appraisal and has the cash to supplement his mortgage with a larger down payment to pay your premium, then you can write the contract accordingly. Once again, except in some markets, this is very rare.